I refuse most newspaper interviews, most magazine interviews, and most national TV interviews because I've done Nightline, I've done CNN, Fox, HBO, Discovery Channel, I've done it all over and over again. There have been a few Discovery Channel and History Channel shows I've done where I basically host them and I'm the main narrator throughout the program. And I was able to do those because those did have scripts. And so I could basically pre-approve them. I could pre-approve the questions I was going to be asked, and then I had the authorization to give the answers I wanted and knew that it wouldn't be edited in a major or substantive way. The problem is that most companies refuse to do that deal with me, so I just refuse to be part of their shows. Now, in the case of Vice, there wasn't a script of questions because obviously it's a news program. And I knew that the host was one of the more libertarian individuals on Vice, and that he'd done some good work in the past. So I said, listen, I figure it's a hit piece, but you can come on down. And when he got there, he basically admitted to me that he is a libertarian, but he disagrees with some of what I stand for. But that indeed, if this wasn't somewhat of a hit piece, he probably wouldn't get on air. And I said, well, that's what I figured. Whatever, let's just do it. Because I know Gavin McInnes, one of the founders of Vice. I used to like Vice. I've really seen it go downhill in its production quality like everybody else has since HBO bought it. But that's just the way it is. So I sit there and I waste hours being interviewed and hours being followed around at the office that day. They're up there until like 7:30 at night. And then they air a 5.5-minute piece on Vice News about getting your news from the fringe. Well, something isn't the fringe by definition if it's dominating. And if it has higher ratings than a lot of mainstream news, which they admit in the piece. So it was actually fair in some ways. But then he did this Perry Mason moment thing repeatedly. And I said, oh, I see what you're doing. He wanted to have this gotcha moment where he would say something like, oh, you have this graph here on your board saying Russian state-run media is trusted. And I say, yes. And then it cuts to him going, are you effing kidding me?
Are you f***ing serious?
Like he's Carl the Cuck or something. When what I really said was, yes, it says it's amongst the most trusted of state-run media on this graph, but this is not my graph. All we did was invert the mainstream media graph that they'd created to point out to the public that all they did was basically stack some names on one side and other names on the other, and it was all just according to who was pro-establishment, who was anti-establishment, and the whole thing was deceptive. And so I went on to explain that the graph on the wall was one that we'd drawn on the wall before we actually created one with Photoshop to bring out this point. And anybody listening remembers whenever I actually did break that graph down and explain that it wasn't totally accurate because all we'd done was flip what they'd done. But see, that wasn't in there. It just cut to me going, yes, Russia is the most trusted media. Psh. And he goes, are you effing kidding me? So he then goes on to say, Alex, doesn't just have a reality problem here. He's got it in other places. So at key parts, they had to twist or manufacture what I said to misrepresent it to the public. And this is the essence of what these people do over and over and over again. And so now it might be a year or two again until I let MSM into the building and then go through the same thing over and over again, because all they do is they come to act like they've interviewed you, whether it's a newspaper or magazine or TV, to then distort things and then to pretend that they're journalists. So that's what they did here, and it's ridiculous. Also, they show one of our YouTube channels and then admit we're bigger than NBC and a bunch of other major channels. That's one of our YouTube channels. I showed him the others. I showed him billions more views, showing we're number one. He didn't put that in there. So they also played down how big we are, still admitting we're bigger than almost everybody else. So again, it isn't about who's big, just to be big. If we were stupid Disney stuff, it wouldn't matter. We're hardcore. We're telling the truth. We're a shoestring budget out of Austin, Texas, and we're defeating Goliath. That's the big news. We don't need you. I don't need Fox News. I don't need CNN. I don't need Vice. I don't need any of you, and I'm sick of you. And by the way, none of us need you. And the answer is just tune out of all of it, folks, or watch it for entertainment and laugh at it and critique it. and keep me honest as well. But the point is, these people are a joke, and it's why they want to censor us and label us as fake, hoping everybody comes back to them. You guys collapse because people know you're fake. And this piece wasn't, on a scale of 1 to 10, the most fake. Let's say, 1 being the most truthful, a 10 being completely lies, like say CNN. I mean, I'd say it was about a 5, because a lot of it was true, but a lot of it was bull, which is rare. I mean, I'll be honest. I did the interview because this guy's done some pretty good pieces in the past, and it's pretty funny. So, but he pulled the Perry Mason moments. He pulled those big time. Here's a few of the clips.
Alex Jones is probably America's best known and most influential conspiracy theorist. Jones's radio program and online television network reaches millions, with frothing rants claiming the Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax and that 9/11 was an inside job. On a conference room whiteboard, his staff had mapped out media organizations they believe are enemies of freedom. I noticed that you're the most free and independent is, oddly enough, you.
Yes.
How did do you know how we got here?
I was just saying, used to Vice before it was owned by the bigwigs would be kind of more over here, but now it's kind of the middle.
So I just want to be clear that Vice is here on the Tyranny and Freedom Index, but these two who are owned by the Kremlin are more free than the media organization that you're talking about.
No, they're up at the top and state-run.
But they're also closer to the freedom.
Yeah, I mean, I found their stuff to be more based in reality.
Are you fucking serious?
Donald Trump, knew who I was, knew what I was doing, talked to him in there. The whole point is it's not about me. I'm just pointing out the movement that was already there that he basically surfed in on.
But you're the loudest person talking about this, and the most successful person talking about it.
Bigger waves are coming. We don't rise and fall with Trump. Now you're going to see the next wave. Good luck with that.
Talk show host is Alex Jones. He's a conspiracy theorist.
Radio talk show host Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
Radio talk show host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
Deeply, I think, racist.
I just got called racist by MSNBC.
I don't want that man to have a gun.
1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
The Alex Jones Show. Watch the free stream live at Infowars.com/show.